Okay, in the acoustic section that we're going to approach next, we're going to take our visitor center and add some acoustical treatments to it, ceiling systems, panel systems, and some stronger or higher performing wall systems. I'll go to the level plan to show you what I've done here. I've added the two ADA bathrooms. This is really just a copy from the other project, but I found that to be relatively tedious. So you can build any kind of structure you want here. You don't need to actually have the bathroom in this. It was just used to divide it off. And I'm prepping, I put the kitchen in. I'm prepping for this visitor center to become a larger project next year when I approach it again. So if we look at this, we go to an interior view. The other modification I had done was I raised it. The roof is now at 14 feet, and our windows are now sitting at 10 feet, and they're 2 feet high, and then there's 2 feet of clearance above it. That gives us room to put an acoustic treatment to the wall, or a ceiling, excuse me, and the ductwork that goes around. And I've also created an extended window now that has no sill bottom. So this window, I believe, is 12 foot high, if that's, yeah, that would be 10 plus 2, 12 foot high with 0 foot depth. So I created that, took the same window, made a duplicate of it, and then changed it so it was 12 foot and had a sill height. Default sill height says 12 feet. This is actually kind of screwed up here for some. Oh no, this isn't the tall window, excuse me. I'm sorry. I've got the wrong window. I'll do it anyway for you. So it's 12 feet high, default sill height is 1 foot, and right now it's sitting at grade, so I'm not exactly sure why that is. I don't know if I set it at a negative level. Anyway, you'll do it right. Now, so let's take a minute and think about what we're going to do with our ceiling treatment, and I'll give you some ideas of where I've started from, and you can follow along with me if you like. I went to I'm trying to get to the internet page here. Let's get to this one. I'm going to just back up here. I went to an acoustical solutions site, and I've selected this wave ceiling cloud, and they have a CAD drawing for it, and I downloaded that. So it's just a little wave. It's a 2 foot by 4 foot panel. But before you get too carried away with following on me, you may want to go back to this site and take a look at some of the other acoustical panels they have for ceilings, because you might find something else more interesting. They've got sound clouds, other kinds of baffling systems. These waves they have a ribbon wave. So you may find something, just a more standard square kind of hanging element. So you may find you want to do something different, and that's fine. But let's go back. I'm going to go through at least the treatment of the methodology of making a repeating element on a ceiling really quickly. So this is a wave surface. It's 2 inches thick. It's basically a 2 foot by 4 foot panel. So let's go back out to Revit, and I'm going to just close this one off because I've already done this once. I'm going to close this off and go through the process again of making that ceiling panel. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go New and create a family, because I'm looking for just a generic model family. And I'm going to go to Generic Model and open that up. Now the way I'm going to make the ceiling panels, I didn't make them attached to a ceiling structure. I thought that would make it a little more flexible for some of the other things we might want to do with it. But so we're going to just place it in the room, and if we go to our front elevation here of our generic modeling, we have our reference floor level that we would insert it in at, but we're going to be up there at 10, 11, 12 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and make a reference line up that high that we can use, and I almost hit it right, 12 feet. And I'll extend this line up so we can see it when we're in there. And now let's just zoom into that area. Let me lock this back off again. And that's the top of the window. So we want to put a line there, a 2-inch line, to make our swirl. If we go back and look at this image, this line and this line are probably completely parallel with each other, and the swoop is just a NURBS curve between the two. So I just need to make a line that's offset by 4 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and create an extrusion. I'm going to make that extrusion 2 feet deep, so we can set that right away. And I'm going to go ahead and make a line. And I want this to be above the window, so let's make it a little bit. And 2 inches. And then we can just use the offset tool. And I have it already set for 2 feet. Let me just zoom out here because it's not showing. So I now have 2 lines out set 2 feet offset from the center, so the total is 4 foot distance. And we'll put a NURBS curve here. So we want it to swoop up and down and then back to here. And it doesn't look very attractive, so I'm going to make some modifications to it a little bit. And we'll take this and we'll just copy it down. And we have a panel. We haven't completed extruding it yet, but let's give it a material. So I'm going to open up the material palette and create a new material, and we'll rename it. Mostly a color. Acoustic. Color. And I'll just give it some little bit of tone to it. Hold on just a second, got a little screen issue there. Edit color. And I'll just warm it up a little bit. It's a little beigey, neutral, ugly. Well, I'm getting a little picky here. I don't know. Warm it up a little bit. All right, we'll go with that. I'm sure I won't like it. Alrighty, so we'll click that. And now we really just need to give this a name so we can track it better. So I'm going to save it. And I have an acoustical tile 2, which I'll save it as. You can save 1 or whatever you want it to be. And we're going to replace that. And we're going to load that into our project. And we won't get a selection for projects because we already know we have only one open. At least I do. Okay, so I placed that. And let's go ahead and make a section view so we can see where that actually is placed. So I'm just going to cut through the building here. And we'll go to that section. And the tile looks a little bit close to the ceiling. So I'm just going to move it all up again. Let's go to the front elevation here. All right, I'll save that and load it in. Okay, so our panel's in place. Let's now go to our level 1 again. And now I'm just going to copy this over in a line. So we'll grab the copy tool. I want to make these in units of 4. So they're all connected to each other. Oops. I lost my smart cursor here. And I guess we could do one more. I'm going to move through, not being as picky about centering as I would hope you would be. This one is overlapped right here. I'm going to delete that one and leave it out. And I'm going to select these back again. And I'm going to copy those down. And we'll space them at, I spaced them at 3'6", so we'll do that again. And I'll do one more. And then we'll go back and we'll delete out the ones that are interfering with our bathroom. Oops. Okay, now I'm going to select all in view, and I'm going to go ahead and group them. That'll give me a little chance to move them around a little bit, get them more centered. So I'm just going to move this over and maybe a little bit down. And I probably should move them over just a little bit more. Whoops. Okay, so let's shoot a view in the room now and just kind of get a feeling for what they look like. So I'm going to go to View and set my camera here. And I'm not going to fuss too much with this. Just open it up and we can see what our rendering looks like. I've set up a pre-render here, so I'll just click that on so I won't spend any time making too many adjustments. So there's a wave ceiling. Yours could be any style you want. And if we go to our section view here, we still have room between these two to run our ductwork and other kinds of accessories. So we'll pick this up now. The next thing I want to do is place some ductwork around the outside perimeter of this, just so we can start to deal with the aesthetics of it and thinking about that. And then we'll look at making some other acoustic components.